This is Moonpath to Elsweyr, which is a Skyrim modification that has been making waves recently as one of the most ambitious and most interesting quest mods that have come out for Skyrim so far. Oblivion had a ton of these and I really enjoy them. I enjoy them much more than the mods that sort of change the gameplay. Especially ones that introduce new world and new environments. I find them really interesting. I love to see what modders can do with the engine and what modders can do with the creation tools that they have available. So this one happens to be set in Elsweyr, which is the Khajiit homeland. It's not, as far as I know, ever been in a Elder Scrolls game before, but there is plenty of lore. This mod is, as far as I know, lore friendly. So it's great for anyone that sort of likes the Khajiit characters, plays as a Khajiit, but has never had that chance to go and actually explore their homeland, which looks exactly how you would picture it. The environment of Elsweyr is hot and wet. There's jungles, there's some desert areas as well, but there's a lot of... it feels more alive than some of the areas in Skyrim. I mean, there are forests in Skyrim. They are much more sparse. The Elsweyr forests full of life, full of interesting little things, and the environments in this mod are hands down the most interesting and the best thing about them. They're great to explore. They're small and they are closed in, but they are very interesting and very, very well made. One thing that wasn't supposed to be as well made, looking through the comments and talking to some of my friends that have played, was the sound, or rather the voice acting. But actually the voice acting is not bad at all. The actual voice actors themselves are surprisingly good. Obviously they're not as good as Bethesda, but they certainly managed to get the job done. You don't think they're absolutely laughable. The problem, unfortunately, is with the quality of the audio. Some, even in the same conversation, some of the voices drop or raise in quality seemingly at random. So you'll have maybe an incredibly quality sentence, and immediately afterwards you'll have a sentence that sounds like the voice actor has swapped out his microphone for a really, really cheap one, or has walked out of the room and is still doing the acting. It's a shame, and it does ruin otherwise good voice acting. The quests themselves are all linear. You have essentially a couple of quest hubs, a couple of quest givers that will send you off to different places. You'll fight some enemies and you'll come back. There's no choice involved right now, which is to be expected, considering that choice always makes games and mods much harder to make. The quests that there are good, they all work, and I didn't notice any sort of bugs with the quests. There are a few conversations that you have in terms of quest lines that don't quite work, and you have to quit out and go back in to get all the information or to activate the quest, but those are few and far between, and they're to be expected. The biggest problem I have with the quests and the mod itself really is that the Falmor play a really big part, and I think that's a shame, because we already know about the Falmor. We already see them in Skyrim so much, and they're such a big part of the main quest of Skyrim that Elsweyr could have done with something more, well, Elsweyrian, or something more Khajiit than a bunch of Falmor soldiers. This is even more disappointing because there are a couple of custom enemies in the game. One of them is, I don't know how to pronounce it at all, so I don't think I'm even going to try. But they're basically mini velociraptors, and they run around the jungle, Zalisik or something. And they're really cool, and they're really well designed, and they fit the environment really well, but you walk past them once and that's it. They're pretty much gone, which is a real shame. And there are other different types of the standard Skyrim enemies, like different types of spider, and they're really cool, but once you get past the first sort of 15 minutes, you never really see those again, and you spend the rest of the game fighting different types of Falmor soldiers that you'll already be used to. So I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity. There are definitely... these guys are working on more specific, Elsweyr-specific fights and models, and some of the pictures that I've seen so far on Skyrim Nexus look brilliant, so hopefully in time that will improve. The balance of the mod is good. There's no recommended level for this mod. I always try to check to play for the right level for the mod. The replay says to make sure you're level 10 or above, so I started with a level 10 character. Most of the game was completely accessible. There is one fight, I won't ruin it, but it's in a very closed area, and for a character that specialises in archery, that actually sort of ruined the balance for that character, and I had to cheat to get past it, because being thrown into a fight I wasn't expecting at all in really close quarters. It made it very, very, very difficult. Overall, though, I think if you're a level I would suggest maybe level 13 to 15 for archers, and if you're a sword or a magic user that can fight in close combat better, you probably don't have to be quite that high. The items that you achieve through the game, there's a unique set of armor you can get from a quest, and there is various bits and pieces that turn up in chests after boss fights, and they're all very reasonably balanced. Nothing felt ridiculous, and the stuff that you did get that was good, you definitely had to work for, so it doesn't ruin the game. Overall, it's definitely a mod that you should play if you're into Skyrim modding whatsoever. If you're not into Skyrim modding, you should still play Elsweyr, because it shows you what you can do, or what talented people can do with the Skyrim creation tools. A lot of Oblivion mods, quest mods, really expand the experience, so it's great to see mods like Elsweyr coming out, trying new things, trying new environments. There are some really cool new enemies, they need to be used more often. The voice acting does need to improve, and I know the guys on Elsweyr are working on that side of things. And obviously it could do with more choice in the story, less Falmor maybe, and maybe more about the Khajiit, more Khajiit characters that aren't just quest givers. And I'm sure most of those things will come with time. Overall though, it's a very ambitious mod, and you should definitely check it out.